More so than anything else, that Edwards tripped over her own feet and Williams was just moving with the play.
Now Edwards with another opportunity, getting trapped inside. Jump ball called. It's going to remain Minnesota possession. But Edwards now being targeted there on that inside pass.
And that's because she holds the ball down by her chest, and Edwards is tall enough where if she holds that ball above her head, not many people are going to be able to make contact with it, but when you bring it down low, it leaves it up for a jump ball.
Page for three, no good. Bell with the rebound. Bell chucks it all the way across the court. Here's Hubbard. Now, or Wagner, excuse me. Now it's Hubbard on the near side. Her three-point attempt, no good. Bell drives into the paint. Lets that one fly, no good. And now it's going to be Penn State possession. Foul called there on Hedstrom.
And this is another one of those times in the game where Minnesota just goes cold. They're 0 for their last 7. They haven't scored any points in the last 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And Penn State, I know they're only up 4, but they really have to start pushing the pace because the Golden Gophers are struggling. They go from about 50% in the field at halftime to now 36%. This is the time of the game where Penn State has to start pulling away because Minnesota is struggling.
Penn State just with a 4-point lead right now, but that can continue to stretch if they get on a hot streak while Minnesota continues to flounder here. Now we've got Bell driving in on Span. 3:05 on the clock. Wagner fakes from outside, goes in, hits that, but unable to knock it down. So now we have Span running the other way. She drives in, draws contact, no foul, but she gets it to go off the glass. And with that, it's now a 6-point lead here by the Lady Lions.
That's pretty surprising that there's no foul on that play, but great job by Span to draw the contact and get the 2.
So Span driving inside. Penn State having some success here as of late. And with that, we're going to head into a brief break. Make sure you keep on watching Penn State versus Minnesota here on BTN. .45 stands the score here at the Bryce Jordan Center between Penn State and Minnesota. Penn State with the lead, and speaking of Penn State leading, they lead the all-time series between these two squads in this 43rd meeting. Penn State 27 wins, but Minnesota, as of recent history, has had the upper hand.
Now Minnesota with head coach Marlene Stallings has won their last 3 games, the only 3 games she's coached against Penn State, but this their first matchup of the 2017 season. Their last one dates all the way back to 2016 when Minnesota won in Minneapolis. And so for Penn State, their last win coming in 2014, they'd love to continue their hot play at home. And so far in this second half, they've definitely been the better team, been aggressive, and you see on the carrying call there, that's a byproduct of how aggressive Penn State has been.
So Penn State gifted after that Minnesota turnover. 2:35 on the clock. Here's Page driving in, gets it over to the corner where Travasio Green is. Now it's back with Span, pulls up from the charity stripe, no good. Minnesota gets that one to Hubbard. Nice pass there to Wagner inside. She tries to go with the reverse layup, no good. And possession arrow off the jump ball goes to Penn State. So now Penn State with the 6-point lead and possession, just over 2 minutes left in this third.
And this 51-45 lead brought to you by that 7-0 run that Penn State has over the last 3:15, but I don't think it's really been that Penn State has played tremendously over the last 5 minutes or so. It's more the fact that Minnesota has just gone stone cold from the field. 0 for their last 9. They can't buy a bucket right now.
Part of that's Wagner struggling so far today. Just 3 of 19. She'll take a seat on the pine here for a few minutes. Now Page drives in, loses possession, but fouled on the play. That one called on Kanisha Bell. So Penn State, after about 28 minutes of play, finally getting to the free throw line by the hands of Tania Page.
It's hard to remember the last basketball game you watched where a team went 20+ minutes without shooting a free throw. And for Penn State, it looked like they were going to go into the fourth quarter without shooting a free throw, but finally Page, and I think there have been times where fouls could have been called, but it's been fairly even on both sides. So although the play has been physical and maybe more fouls warranted, it hasn't been one-sided, and I think for the coaches, at least it's been called even instead of been called pretty ticky-tack.
So after 2 made free throws by Page, a quick answer there by Bell from 3. Now it's just a 5-point contest once again. Carter walks to the far side, working off the screen from Whitted. Gets it over to Page. She'll drive in between traffic, throw it up baseline, no good. And snatched away there by Mitchell. Mitchell trying to get her own rebound. Minnesota coming away luckily from that one. They just handed the ball right to Mitchell. 1:20 now left here in the third. Minnesota looking to close the gap. Bell trying to get past Carter. Carter playing tight defense. Hook shot there, foul called. And it's going to be a block. So Minnesota going to be able to get the pass in from the baseline. And they do get into the bonus off of that one, so they're actually going to get a free throw here on the play off Penn State's 5th foul.
That's big for Minnesota because of the physicality of this game. There have been a lot of loose ball fouls, and so now in the bonus where every loose ball foul that goes your way, you'll be shooting at least 1. It's big for Minnesota moving forward, especially down by 4.
And it definitely helps them that they're only shooting 2 of 15 from the field, 1 of their last 10, but they're able to get some shots from the charity stripe, potentially be able to raise that score a little bit. Not on that second attempt, though, so they go 1 of 2 from the line, still trail by 4. Page holds it as the clock rolls under a minute. She'll chuck it into the corner. Span, 4-3, no good. Now we have Bell sprinting down, trying to get a quick transition basket. She'll defer to Wagner. Wagner gets it back to Bell. She'll drive in, puts that one up from inside the paint. That one falls. So a 2-point contest, 36 seconds left.
Great job by Bell picking up the slack for Carly Wagner. 13 points for the top secondary scorer on this Minnesota Golden Gopher team.
Carter pulls up, gets fouled. So she'll get some shots from the line here, up to an opportunity to extend that lead.
So it took Penn State 28 minutes to get to the free throw line, and now they've gotten there on really back-to-back possessions, the other one on a fast break that they missed. But it's a good sign for the Nittany Lions that if Minnesota's going to be in the bonus, now they've been able to create enough contact to get some free points from the line on their own.
Minnesota bringing back a few players, trying to potentially cherry pick this, but Penn State unable to get the second one to fall. Foul called on the play there by Tinjum as Moore was wrestling for that rebound, playing her usual physical style. She'll get a trip to the line now, and Penn State able to add more points onto the board.
Moore, another player for this Nittany Lion team that in the last 5 games, she's averaging over 10 points a game at 11.4 her and Kalia Mitchell were in that same boat. They've both been quiet tonight, but it really speaks to the depth of this Penn State Nittany Lion team that they can have two of their primary scorers go down, really produce nothing tonight, and they'll still have this at least 4-point lead going into the fourth quarter. 23 bench points for the Nittany Lions, just 11 for the Golden Gophers.
More top three on the team and scoring, rebounding, and field goal percentage. One area she struggles is the free throw line, but she hits both of them there in a 2-for-2 trip. 12 seconds on the clock here for Minnesota. Opportunity for the last possession. Edwards tries to pull it up as she's falling down. Travel call.